Good evening, everybody. Special thanks for all the lovely comments about my mother singing with me last week. It was a little treat for me too. She'll be 87 on the next birthday, and she's singing as well as ever. Uh, she got it from her dad, and I'm blessed we have some recordings of him singing. And he was a great singer, and I've another great recollection that I accompanied him when I was 10 on the piano, and we have a recording of it. I might play it some week. It was fantastic, beautiful. He was a great singer. But that song "Grandfather" brought a song into my mind. I've had the pleasure of working with Danny Doyle on a few occasions, the late Danny. You remember him from I'll give you a daisy a day, dear, I'll give you a daisy a day. And he also sang, he sits on the corner of Beggar's Bush, astride of an old packing case. In the chorus, come day, go day, wishing my heart it was Sunday, drinking buttermilk all the week, whiskey on a Sunday. But he recorded a fantastic album with his sister, and the album was called Emigrant Eyes, and this is the title track. It's lovely, about landing in Ellis Island. Old Ellis Island was swarming like a scene from a costume ball, decked out in the colours of Europe and on fire with the hope of it all. They were standing in line just like cattle. They were pushed, sorted and shoved. Some were one desk away from sweet freedom. Some were torn from someone they loved. Through this sprawling Tower of Babel stood a young man, confused and alone, determined and bound for America, carrying everything that he owns. Sometimes when I look in my grandfather's emigrant eyes, I see that day reflected, can't hold my feelings inside. I see starting with nothing and working hard all of his life. So don't take it for granted, grandfather's emigrant eyes. Now he rocks and stares out the window, but his eyes are still just as clear as the day he sailed into the harbour to come ashore on the island of tears. My grandfather's days are numbered, but I won't let his memory die, because he gave me the gift of this country and the look in his emigrant eyes. And sometimes when I look in my grandfather's emigrant eyes, I see that day reflected, can't hold my feelings inside. I see starting with nothing and working hard all of his life. So don't take it for granted, grandfather's emigrant eyes. Now I gaze with pride at my children, and I marvel how quickly they've grown. Born and raised in America, it's the only home they've ever known. They never knew their great-granddad, and that he was determined and wide. But I hope that I've passed on his spirit and the look in his emigrant eyes. And sometimes when I look in my grandfather's emigrant eyes, I see that day reflected, can't hold my feelings inside. I see starting with nothing and working hard all of his life. So don't take it for granted, grandfather's emigrant eyes. Don't take it for granted, grandfather's emigrant eyes. Danny Doyle, great version of that, Emigrant Eyes, probably the best version that was available. On the same album, he actually was joined by his sister, Geraldine. And Geraldine was a bit of a comedian and had a great old knack for the funny songs. And she sang, I'll just sing a little bit of one of the ones she did. It's called the Silly Slang Song. It's about how the English language, the words have been, their meaning has changed over the years. I'll just do the last verse of it. Those years have gone, I'm afraid, when only eggs got laid and only the rhinoceros got horny. Only camels jumped, only camels got humped. Getting stuffed meant a little taxidermy. Swinging was for trapezes or chairs and chimpanzees. Tossing off was something Scotland did with capers. I've no idea what that means, but a really ugly scene is any movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And look what they've done to the old mother tongue. It's a crime the way we've misused it. It's been totally just wobbled, pulverized and gollywobbled. We've strangled, fangled, mangled and abused it. That's the Silly Slang Song. There was other verses, but they're too risky altogether. You thought that was bad. That was written by Eric Bogle. Eric Bogle was born in Scotland and he moved to Australia in 1969, I think. He wrote some great songs. Actually, a lot of his songs are very long. When I was a young man, I carried me pack and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Murray's Green Basin to the dusty outback, oh, I waltzed my Matilda all over. And in 1915, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. So they gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they sent me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the young people answered the call. Amid all the tears, flag waving and cheers, we sailed off for Gallipoli. He wrote that, and he wrote the other one, well, how do you do, young Willie McBride? Do you mind if I sit here down by your graveside and rest for a while 'neath the warm summer sun? I've been walking all day and I'm nearly done. A song that was sung every night in every pub after 12 or after 1. That was the one everyone picked to sing because they knew the words of it. He wrote another beautiful song, and I think I love researching where the songs came from. But this song he wrote when he was leaving Scotland. He was born in a place called Peebles in Scotland, and when he was leaving for Australia, he was 25 years of age. And he wrote this song knowing that he'd never see his mum and dad again. So this was the farewell. And he said normally back then, the tradition was that families, they'd go to the boat and they'd wave them off. But he wanted his parents to say goodbye to him at the train station. He didn't want any more, but he said that's where he wanted it. So he wrote this song. And the meaning, when you hear what it's about, a powerful song. I'm sure you know it. In comes the train and the whole platform shakes. It stops with a shudder and a screaming of brakes. The leaving has come and my weary soul aches. I'm leaving my Nancy, oh. Yet you stand there so calmly, determinedly gay. We talk of the weather and events of the day, but your eyes tell me all that your lips couldn't say. Goodbye, my Nancy, oh. And come a little closer, lay your head upon my shoulder, and let me hold you one more time before the whistle blows. And he asked her not to cry. He said, please don't cry. And he said she didn't until the last 10 seconds. When the train was driving out of the station, he'd his hand out the window and she was touching his hand. And just as the hands broke, that was the first time he saw a tear. Our time has run out and the whistle has blown, and here I must leave you standing alone. We had so little time, and now the time's gone. I'm leaving Nancy, oh. And as the train starts gently to roll, and as I lean out to wave and to call, I see the first tears trickle and fall. Goodbye, my Nancy, oh. And come a little closer, lay your head upon my shoulder, and let me hold you one more time before the whistles blow. Powerful song when you hear about the meaning of it. So he was born in Peebles, which I said in Scotland. Now, I did a master's a few years ago in festivals, festive arts. So I actually researched on festivals around the world. And one of them I looked at was the one in Peebles, by pure coincidence. And I chose it because the festival was all about community. And each event that they had during their festival was a celebration of their own area. And I related that to Bansha, because I was involved in Bansha Festival at the time, and again, it was the pride in the area. And even if you see with tidy towns in Bansha, there's a proud cohort there. They're fantastic. They love their area, they love the village, and it's so important. And that's why our festivals back there were so successful. So I want to take a little cut from our festival chairman who sang an old song with us in the Millennium Room a few years ago. You can see everyone aged in the video except me. Enjoy.
Give me a song advice, so I handed in my bottle and drank down my last swallow. Then he wanted a cigarette and asked me for a light. The drank what just requires. Face lost old expression. If you're gonna play the game, boy, gotta learn to play it right. You gotta know when to hold, know when to fold, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never have to show money when sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting.
Well done, Martin. Wasn't that great? The Boy of the Quins, huh? We always talk about, well, I've talked about pubs and all that, and you know, Cornies and the Foot and the Underground and all those places and Heenies, but we also experienced an awful lot of music as a child in the Marion Hall in Tipperary town. And I remember there was great competitions. There was Score, there was Raidori, and I remember singing the first time ever on stage there. It was great memories of singing this song. As I walk the roads from Killishandra, weary I sat down, for it's 12 long miles around the lake to get to Cavan town. The utter and the road I'll go, unseen beyond compare, and I'll curse the time it takes to reach my Cavan girl so fair. Cavan Girl, lovely song, written by Thom Moore. Thom was an American singer-songwriter, and he was an English teacher, and he actually, for a while there, he moved to Russia as an interpreter for 6 years. But he came to Ireland, moved to Sligo, loved the place, and decided to call it home. Now he wrote great songs. He wrote Carolina Rua for Mary Black. He wrote Saw You Running, Still Believin', and he wrote a lovely song that Maura O'Connell released, and it was about his own daughter who was going to school in the Ursuline, and from Sligo she took the train. So here's the song, and I'm going to get Fran to come in to sing it with me, or to get her to sing it. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy Fran.
Train from as slow as it brings her from the school below. She wants to be home faster than a train from Sligo ever can. Wonders where the passing time goes, drifting by the window, my oh my. It's getting longer than it ever has before. Eyes white as silver dollars, I can't think why, but she's a scholar. Hold on, seems so long to learn what's right from what is wrong. Oh, school books and fancy collars, I might not care to be a scholar. Hold on, her daddy tells her learn to sing a song. Train from Sligo moves too fast when holidays are gone at last, and winter days are here again. Please promise me you'll write me then. 2 long weeks till I get home, I can't help feeling all alone. If someone doesn't write me soon, I'll simply fade away. Eyes white as silver dollars, I can't think why, but she's a scholar. What's right from what is wrong? Oh, school books and fancy collars, I might not care to be a scholar. Hold on, her daddy tells her learn to sing a song. Eyes white as silver dollars, I can't think why, but she's a scholar. Hold on, seems so long to learn what's right from what is wrong. Oh, school books and fancy collars, I might not care to be tells her learn to sing a song.
Thank you, Fran. And I mentioned the Marion Hall at the start of that, and the caretaker lady, who's no stranger to the stage and no stranger to singing, to comedy routines. And so last week I asked her would she sing a song, and she did. We went into the Marion Hall and we obeyed all the social distancing, and she sang a song, and I'm going to finish up with it tonight. Before I do, the Bealtaine Festival concert is being launched again this week, so this is the 3rd one now, and this one is featuring the amazing Paul Hennessy from Carlow, now living in Longford. Not to be missed. I'll put the link above. Click on it. They're all free, and Paul will wow you with his amazing tenor voice. So now to wow you with another type of a voice, with a little bit of comedy and some great rhythm in her pieces. Michael, I don't know, will appreciate that. So please welcome and say farewell to you with Anne O'Dwyer.
Do you know, he won't let me sing, he won't let me dance, but I'll tell you, he ain't heard nothing yet. When I was 80, I started smoking. Took to drinking at 85. At 90 I started courting. Thank God I was alive. 95 saw me in business, expecting to make me a pile. At 100 I made my first million, and I started living in style. It's never too late to start living, to get up and have some fun. The sun will be just as shiny in the morning as the first day the world's begun. Then I got me an uptown penthouse and 50s to light my cigars. Developed a taste for fine champagne, drove fast Italian cars. Then the doctor, he gave me a warning and a lecture on right and wrong. If I didn't give up my sinful ways, I wouldn't live very long. But I said to him, It's never too late to start living. Let's swing it, to get up and have some fun. The sun will be just as shiny in the morning as the first day the world's begun. Let's sing it again. It's never too late to start living, to get up and have some fun. The sun will be just as shiny in the morning as the first day the world's begun. Yes, the sun will be just as shiny in the morning as the first day the world's begun. Yeah.